This is our DIY camper shell that we built for less than $5,000 that we call Wanderbox. And today I'm going to walk you through our camper inside and out, let you know what we spent and what we would change if we could do this again. I'm Bo, and this is Blacktop Nomad. So Wanderbox started off as a Tusca Hitchhiker. They were a company out of Pennsylvania that made these foam light camper shells, basically. They've been since bought by Redneck Blinds out of Missouri, so they've been rebranded as Freedom Campers. But when it was Tusca, you could go to the Tusca website and custom order one of these boxes based on the truck length that you had. So this was custom ordered to be able to fit over top of the bed rail here and to fit right between the tailgate, so you could fit this inside of a 6.5 foot box. So originally we wanted to go ahead and custom order one just like this, but when I called to see about getting one ordered, they actually had one of these already custom made that somebody had backed out of. So we were able to get a smoking deal for what these actually retail for. We were able to get this one for $2,500 plus $500 shipping, so $3,000 total. Bought us the entire basic shell, and it came directly to the door. After that, we went ahead and put all of our decals on. We painted the exterior a little bit lighter shade of like a sage tan, and then all of these decals you see, even the brown, is vinyl that we laid on. And that was kind of a challenge because this surface is textured and really rough. So it took us quite a bit of time to figure out how to get this to lay down properly. And if I was to do it again, I would probably paint this brown portion because it does tend to get scuffed along, like as you're moving it in and out or putting it elsewhere. So maybe it would have been a little more durable than the vinyl just to have it down here. It is secured to the truck itself using this truck mounting kit that did come with our Tusca. I had to buy these bull ring anchors that snap up out of the truck, and it just secures in. You just twist it to tighten it up, and it actually rides really, really nice. So the nice thing and why we went with this particular camper over just like building something of our own, it was nice to have something that was already ready-made and insulated that we didn't really have to do much construction with. We could just kind of add our own personal touch to. And the nice thing is this camper weighs about 190 pounds dry, so empty. With all of our gear in it, it weighs probably about 250 pounds max, which is nice because when this isn't sitting on the truck platform, it's actually sitting over here on our utility trailer. And so we can go back and forth between having a truck camper and having a trailer camper. So it can go, actually will transition between being a truck camper to almost like a teardrop camper, which we can tow with our car. And if you haven't seen the video where we tow it with our little Miata to prove how light that trailer actually is, you should go check that out because it's actually kind of a cool video. All right, so after that, let's go ahead and walk around here. So you got the full basic side. You've got windows that slide that came with it. Around back here, I'm gonna drop the tailgate, and back here, you got a little porthole here for your shore power, so you can run an electrical cord through there. So if you're at a powered site, you can put power to it. You've got a max air fan. That was an option from Tusca. It actually came free with our purchase, which is another kind of benefit why we ended up going with this. It's a heat extractor fan, plus it's an LED light inside. So that's really nice. And right here, I'm gonna focus on the platform. Our platform here was built out of 2x12s at the bottom that run along the bed length of the truck. I've got 2x6s that run across, and I've covered those with boat carpet so it slides really nice when it's up in the truck. And the 3 of the 2x6s actually come out, and I can put them on the trailer as bracing, and it also makes it easier in case we have like access to like a skid steer or a forklift. We can put this off and on without even having to get extra manpower to help lift it into the truck. All in all, recycling some of the materials that came in as the packaging materials, we spent about $142 on building our decked system here. So that includes like the handles, the gas struts. We even have this panel here where we can slide all of our stuff out, which is really nice, and slide it back in. And again, we just utilized the crating packaging that came with the Tusca, so that was free to us. And we painted it the same color as the exterior. If I was to redo this one again, I would probably try and do a little more research and find a little bit longer gas strut. It was really hard to try and find what we needed because this is so light. So I went with 6-pound struts on both sides, but they're only 6 inches, and I couldn't find that light of a strut in anything longer, because I would have loved to have gone probably about an 8-inch, so we could have had it hinge up about that high. But for now, it works really good. It comes out to about level, and everything comes out really nice. We utilized a kayak handle that I had laying around for our handle, and that works out really good. And then the nice thing is we also have pockets off to the side where we can store a little bit of like starter firewood. But all in all, very happy with how that turned out. And compared to like a $1,700 deck system, this is a way cheaper option for us. So inside, we went a little bit crazy with the paint here. So we went with a sky blue base, and I went ahead and hand did all of the mural painting inside and out. We have a little bit more vinyl just for some fun here. We ran some LED string lights. We threw up some foldable blinds that we put into it. And since this is a foam exterior, it's really inside and out. It's really hard to find ways to mount things inside. So what I had to do is I got 1/4-inch screw-in drywall anchors that I use to mount wherever the bolt holes are gonna go, or for our screw holes. And that's what secures everything to the sides of the camper. So if you're gonna be doing something like this, that would be my recommendation as far as where to go for security. Inside, it's very simple. We have a foldable foam pad that we got off of Amazon. That was 140 bucks. We have a little shelf unit here. Inside the camper, that was $35. That's secured to the wall so it doesn't move around while we're traveling. We just got some flannel bed sheets from Walmart. Those are like 30 bucks. And we actually have our most expensive purchase in here is our Predator power unit. It was $200 from Harbor Freight. It seems to work really, really well. We can run our light and everything for almost 2 days without having to recharge it, which is really nice. Maybe even 3 days if we don't try and charge our phones. But other than that, we have our RV blinds in here that go up and down. They claim to be blackout. They're not quite blackout. So in here, we probably have invested. So we got 140 for our mattress. We got 30 for our bedding. We spent another 70 bucks on paint, 200 for our shore power, 35 for our shelving unit, and then our curtains were 30 bucks a piece. So in here, it was actually pretty economical. There's not this is a pretty bare bones setup with our LED light providing most of our light from our Max Air fan. Things I would do different in this area would be, I would definitely look into different storage solutions. So, when you're kind of conceptualizing this, you think in more aesthetic terms and how it's going to look nice. And it did. It looked very, very nice when we got this done. But as we're starting to camp and realizing we need all this gear that we didn't even think about the first go around, and as our needs are changing depending on where we're going, I would definitely look into some different storage solutions for sure. This mattress is just about perfect for 2 people. I mean, you have to really enjoy the company of the person you're with. It is tight in here, so I can understand why people would try and build something that went over the bed rails. But the nice thing about having this be able to be tucked inside the bed rail is I don't need extended mirrors for my truck. I can see everything behind me really well because this isn't blocking my field of vision, so that is really nice. But as far as things I would probably change, it would definitely be storage solutions and maybe focusing a little less on aesthetics. This is definitely considered like a weekender thing. We don't have any facilities. We don't have any cooking. So if we go forward in the future, I may look at building more of a kitchenette under here for our, if we need any more cooking needs, but for now we just throw everything in the back of the truck. So this is definitely what I would consider more of a weekender vacation setup. It's nowhere, like, it's not quite an off-grid system. So depending on what our needs are in the future, we may look at building something else or upgrading this unit entirely. But all in all, for this whole setup, the most expensive thing we purchased was the camper itself, and that was about $3,000. We've got about, probably $350 inside, sprucing it up with what we needed, you know, another $150 here. So all in all, we're just shy of just under $4,000 for this whole setup, which seems like a lot. You could probably find slide-in campers way cheaper, but the other big benefit of this setup versus like a traditional slide-in camper or something you could build out of like 2x4s and stuff is the weight. So at about 250 pounds, you do not feel this on the truck at all when you're going down the road. And even though it sticks up a good 2.5 foot or so above the roof line of the truck, the gradual slope of the box here and the fact it is so lightweight, we haven't noticed any measurable drop in fuel economy. In fact, it's pretty much just like driving the truck unloaded down the road. So as far as towability goes, as far as economy goes, it's a super great setup for somebody who's just looking to get out there, do a little bit of off-grid camping. Like I said, our shore power allows us to go where there's no power, so we have facilities, we can have, you know, have our lights, we can power up our phones and all that good stuff. So it's a really nice option. But as far as what we do in the future with it, it's just going to depend on what our needs are going forward, or whether we need more facilities like a bathroom and stuff, because that's been one of the downfalls so far, is just having to get out of the camper to go to the bathroom late at night, you know, and you're just not, and sometimes that's not in the most convenient of spots to do. So that's something that we are going to consider going forward. But that's a brief look around at our wanderbox. If you have any questions at all, make sure you post them down in the comments. I'll try and answer everybody's as I see it. Also go ahead and check out our build videos on this if you want to see a little more in-depth look at how everything came together. And make sure you're subscribed, because you're definitely going to be seeing this on a lot more adventures going forward, so you don't want to miss those. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.